All right, so you've been shopping and you're trying to get the best interest rate. So what kind of interest rate you trying to get?
Well, I'm thinking I want a 1.9 or something that percentage rate for me, you know?
You want a 1.9?
Of course.
What's your credit score?
519.
519.
That's good enough.
No, it ain't. Not for no 1.9. How about I do this? I run your credit one more time, because if I lower it again, you're damn sure ain't gonna get a 1.9.
We'll run it one more time.
Okay, how about a 19% interest rate and I can call this today?
You may have a deal.
You have a deal?
Yeah.
Oh, you got money down?
It's a deal. I got money.
You got money?
I do.
All right. Yeah, I'll be right back. Let me run it one more time. Get you that 19, how about 19.5% to 21%? I can still earn your business?
Still got my business.
All right. So I'm talking.
All right.
I love you, girl.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Can we normalize that not everyone has the best, greatest credit score ever? Because don't get me wrong, I used to have the best credit score back, I think 3 years ago. And then me and my husband had a dream and opened up a business, not once but twice. And opening up a business means obviously taking out loans and whatnot, and it literally messed up my credit score really bad. That we were in the process trying to fix it, but we paid 3 different credit guy fixers that were oh my gosh, yes, I'm gonna make your credit score best, back to normal. And they all just ended up just taking our money. We did not see a difference, me and my husband. And now that I'm in the process of wanting to get a new car, because I'm gonna have 3 kids, and in this car we obviously won't fit another car seat, but it just sucks that your credit score is so important when it comes to getting a house, getting a car. Obviously not having a great credit score means putting a lot of money down, or vice versa. And in this economy, cars are expensive, and wanting to put money down is not what we want to do. We obviously want to have a great credit score to not to put too much down. And it just sucks that everything has to be for freaking credit. And it's crazy how back in the day I used to not think that credit score was that important, but literally if you don't have credit, you don't have nothing. And it sucks for those people that, for myself, that have a low credit score and can't do certain things because of our credit. And it just sucks.
So last night I was laying in bed doing my doom scroll as one does right before they go to sleep, and I come across this video from this company called Prime Bites, I think is what it was. It was a protein company, and they were calling this repeat customer to say thanks for making so many orders or whatever. It was a cute video. If you want to watch it. But anyways, they call from an unknown number, and Scott even mentions in the video oh yeah, I saw that it was an unknown number, but I figured I better take a chance. And somebody in the comment said Scott has good credit, because Scott answered the phone and admitted he was Scott. And I have never in my life read a more true TikTok comment than that. Do you know how many times growing up as a kid I would watch my daddy's phone ring and had it not recognize the number and say, well, I got a lot of kids, let me just make sure. Hello, hey, could I speak to James? Sorry boss, wrong number. Click. I'm looking at him but you are James. And God forbid, whenever I got a little bit older and had a little in my voice, he would start handing the phone to me. Hey, answer this. So I'd say, hello, hey, could I speak to James? Sorry ma'am, wrong number. Click. I was in the office sick as a dog one day. The office lady calls, hey, can I speak to James? Sorry ma'am, wrong number. Click. Me and her both looking at the phone she's like, are you sure that's the right number? I said, yes ma'am. I said, you're gonna have to dial it again. He's not gonna answer, but I'm gonna have to leave him a voicemail letting him know that it is me that needs to get in contact with him, or he's never gonna call this number ever again. She's looking at me crazy, and I'm looking at her crazy do you tell people on the other end of the phone that you were you? Have a good day. I'll see y'all later. Bye. I love y'all.
Listen, I'm trying to be a better, more empathetic person, so if this is me going backwards on my journey, please let me know. But every time I see a TikTok of some girl being oh, I'm thousands of dollars in credit card debt because of TikTok and I overshop, I bust over laughing. Because the videos are always ridiculous. You spent thousands of dollars on 92% rayon clothing, random junk from Amazon, a BPA-filled water bottle, and a poofy headband. You have $30,000 worth of credit card debt and haven't been on a vacation in 4 years, but your house is filled with junk. Your credit score is so low that you can't even rob Peter to pay Paul and open up a balance transfer account. I just want to go back to that one point. These girls will tell you up and down that overconsumption is a problem. The problem is that you had a $15,000 credit limit and you didn't get a passport. And like in most cases, debt is not a moral failure, but in this specific case, sweetheart, it is an indication that you're an idiot. Because there are girls on this app who are dripped down. You didn't even buy designer. You got stuff from Pretty Little Thing and Fashion Nova. That's why you can't pay your bills now? I kind of think this would have happened anyway. Like, realistically, we would have just let you loose in a Target and you would have come out with a negative 5K balance because you just don't know how to spend wisely.
Can someone answer this question for me? Because I'm a little confused. I am part of the new Coming Getting Your Shit Together community. So I just came back from a campus that I checked out, like just to start classes again, which I'm so excited for. But I also am trying to get my credit back up. And I just saw how low my credit had gotten from like previous time. It was like a 7 something and now it's a 5 something, which my heart broke. Anyways, I just want to know if there's any credit card companies that would like accept me so I can start building my credit back up, or like how do y'all go about that? Because like my phone bill is already paid like 3 months in advance. Like I don't even play about that. And then like old car payments I had, I don't have the car anymore, so like I already did that paperwork. But like what's next? I need something that'll help me build it up. I just don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Reapply for a car payments, etc., like what?
Let me tell y'all something. I paid my credit cards off, 10 racks, and I paid my personal loans off, about $3,000, probably more than that. And guess what happened to my credit score? I'm so excited. It decreased. It went down. It went downhill. I had coffee, don't mind my tongue. My credit score decreased. And let me tell you what my advisor said, since she thinks she know everything. Because you decided to pay your personal loans off earlier than expected, your credit history went down. The longevity of you having credit decreased, causing your credit history to decrease, causing your credit score to go down. But you told me to do it. You told me to pay it in full. Don't pay anyone to give you help on your credit score. Don't worry about FICO 8 Vantage score. Don't worry about your credit report. Don't worry about none of it, because none of it is real. Nothing is real. Nothing is real.
I don't really understand why she is crashing out like this. Here is the thing with credit. You have to pay it off over time, on time. That is the best way to build your credit. Over time, on time. If you pay it on time, but it's not over time, your score will drop. Just because that was not the agreement. The agreement was you have this specific loan and you have to pay it off over a period of time. You can pay a little extra, but you should not pay it all off just at once. You should pay it over time. Stretch out the money. Schedule the payments. And so that way you do not have to really worry about it. But the issue comes in when you just pay thousands of dollars just like that. And although you have paid off your debt in full, but it was not over time. And so you get dinged for that. That's how the credit system works, honestly. So I don't know what to tell you.
Lord, speaking about the bad credit, I have got some bad credit stories. Listen, before I got my life together, right? Before I was a thriving nurse and I was in the bad credit club, right? Many years ago. And I just didn't know the importance of credit and I was broke. You know what I mean? So I would get what I can get and, you know, then couldn't pay it and then just had bad credit. And I remember having like, and I'm putting y'all in my bad credit years business because, you know, it was then and this is now. But so I had bad credit. My credit was like a 550, right? Is that even, I think that's a crime. I think it's illegal for your credit to be that low. My credit was like a 550. And I remember in those times just going into, you didn't even want to look at a real dealership, right? You're driving down the street, you see the Honda dealerships, you wouldn't even think of going in dealerships like that. And if you did, you would sit there and they would say, sorry, you need a cosigner. And I would hear that so much. So you would have to go to this in-house financing place and buy here, pay here, you pay weekly. They'd have you paying like $200 a week. And this is like 15 years ago, right? They have you paying like $200 a week for a car. you miss one payment and they repo the car, or it's something with the mileage. If you go over a certain amount of miles, like, oh, you have 3,000 miles and you're just so happy to get the car, you don't even really hear like 3,000 miles. Damn, I can't even drive around the corner. They're going to come get the car. I just got scammed so many times with that. And then, oh my God, when I was in nursing school, the first time I was broke as shit. Like back in 2008, I was so broke, and trying to, not wanting the car, trying to be in nursing school and trying to work as a CNA on the weekends, and not wanting the car to get repoed, to be so scared, trying to hide the car. I remember one time I had the car running, warming it up, and I ran into my house because I left like one of my nursing books or something in there. By the time I came back out, it was gone. They had repoed the car because I had been hiding it, but it had just happened to be parked in the front of my house because I was, running right in the house really quick. So it's so scary when you have bad credit. But once I learned and I, became an adult and I had a career and I was making money, I started, paying my stuff. Learning, so I learned through trial and error. Okay, I don't want any late payments. Okay, I don't, And then over the years, I have, got amazing credit, built up relationships with the banks. I have the same banks, the same cards I've had for over a decade. So the feeling I have now and that peace of mind with having good credit and having my finances together, I went from not being able to go into a dealership to being able to walk into the BMW dealership, take a look. Oh, I want that right there. My sales guys at BMW, they know when I come in and I say, all right, I'm getting a new car, or I'm getting a car. They love it because it's literally a 20-minute process. All I need to do is drive it. I've already been looking at it. This is the one I want. Let me just take it for a spin. Oh, it's going to be $92,000. Get right on the phone. Call my credit union. I'm coming to pick up a check for $92,000 because I'll, finance it through my credit union, and they just pay BMW straight off. Like, that's how I do it. And I go get the check. Boom. Give it to BMW. Boom. Done. And that's it. And that's a good feeling. Not that fear of, oh, I'm going to need a cosigner. Then you're begging people for a cosigner. And then, so that's why when I say nursing has changed my life, and still dope to be a nurse, there's no other career like it. These are like the perks, that financial security that you have with being a nurse. It just changed my life. I was in the bad credit club, getting repoed, not being able to pay my bills, and I do not have that fear. I will go get whatever I want because I have good credit, and I built relationships, and I've worked my ass off for years to do that. But Lord, I got some bad credit stories. I'm telling you, that shit causes stress and anxiety, and I can see why people who don't have money and shit be so mad and angry who have bad credit, because going in somewhere with fear of hearing denied, not approved. No, I want to hear approved all the time. I want to hear approved all the time. That is such a light feeling when you're going to hear approved. Like, finances are everything, and we weren't privy to it. A lot of minorities, we were not privy to financial literacy, but now there's no excuse because the information is out there. There's game out there.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Dear people with bad credit that need home loans, if somebody is willing to give you a loan, please understand you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you have done or will do will be held against you in the underwriter's office. Some people have really got to be careful what they are wishing for. When you are going to a lender and you know that your shit messed up, you don't get a right to complain about the things that are thrown at you. So I did a manual underwrite, or I was trying to get a borrower past the underwriter through doing a manual underwrite. This is the same manual underwrite that y'all running around here asking about. Realtors be like, oh, do you do manual underwrites? You got borrowers out here like, oh, I heard I don't need no credit score to get a loan. A manual underwrite literally means that we are going to have to go look for what's wrong with you. I had a guy that was getting a VA loan. He was, in desperate need to consolidate some debt. He had a 532 FICO score, and when I ran it through the automated underwriting system, it told me that we needed to do a manual underwrite in order to get him all the way through the process. I really fought so hard to make sure that this was going to work for him. And don't you know that the underwriter came back after the initial or the conditional approval and said, hey, we need you to do these 13 things. After all I did with this man, or for this man, trying to get him to the point where an underwriter would consider him. I mean, I wrote a nice narrative about why he needed this money and how much better his life would be, because I assure you, he called me no less than 3 times a day. After he got his list of the items that were needed, which was about 13 things, he decided that this was too much and we were asking for too much nitpicky shit. Some of those items include, but not limited to, they needed him to sign 3 different documents that are normal for a home loan. They needed him to provide 2 months of bank statements. And what they're looking for is, has he gone into a negative? Like, you have non-sufficient funds, because that means that you're not responsible with your money. They were asking for past addresses, like, hey, have you ever lived or owned at any of these properties? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different properties that's listed on here. Mind you, on the loan application, we only listed 2 properties. The point that I'm making is, it is literally ridiculous. Some of the documents that he submitted to me weren't legible, so the underwriter re-requested the document. But the audacity of somebody who's literally begging to get money, and then once they think they got a flicker of hope, to be like, oh, well, you're not treating me like everybody else, so I'm gonna figure out a different way. Great, figure out a different way. But just understand what it is that you're asking for. When y'all are going in these situations and a lender is willing to say yes, you have no right to complain. You need to keep your mouth shut, say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and follow directions.
Guys, just like she said, if you have bad credit, you have no leverage whatsoever. If your credit is okay, then you have a little bit of leverage. If your credit is really good, now we're talking. You have a lot of leverage in that negotiation. But if your credit is like 500, 540, 560, 580, anything less than 600, trust me, you will get the worst rates. You will get the worst deals. You will literally get the bottom of the barrel type deal just because you do not have your credit together. Just because your credit is poor. You will have to pay more down and your interest rate will be higher just because of bad credit. If you have good credit, then you pay less upfront, and on top of that, you get a lower interest rate. But yes, in this country, in the United States of America, if you have bad credit, you will pay for it. You will pay for it. And life is a lot harder if you have bad credit. And the funny thing is that when you have bad credit, that is a time that you need to buy a new thing and you have to use credit and you have to get loans for that thing that you need. And when you have really good credit, you don't really need anything else. You don't need a new or used house. Like, you don't need anything when you have really good credit, but you need everything when you have bad credit. Make it make sense, guys.
I'm over here thinking, right, why is it so normalized for us black people to have bad credit? We all heard the joke, yeah, you black, you supposed to have bad credit, when the whole time, like, no, we don't. Like, we should be having 700 plus credit scores, having big businesses, you know what I'm saying? So, like, why do y'all think that it's so normalized for black people to have bad credit? I'm curious.
Listen, a lot of people are not going to like this, but the reason why you have bad credit is 1 or 2 things. 1, which is more than likely you have a bad relationship with money. Or 2, you recently fell on hard times. Like during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs and they weren't able to keep up with all the stuff they were able, to pay for when they did have a job, right? That's simply it. That's the only reason why you have bad credit, because your credit is literally a reflection of how you are with money. That's it.
So you finally saved up your money, you finally found the house you want to buy, and you're getting ready to contact your realtor. You contact the realtor and they say you got some stuff on your credit that you need to take care of before you can get your final approval to move forward with your house. And all you got to do is use an FTC report and get those collections off, or whatever it is, whatever the accounts are that is a problem. But you don't want to use an FTC report? You don't want to use an FTC report to companies that's not the government to fix your credit so you can go buy a house. It just doesn't add up to me. Like, you're that close. You're as close as 4 days in most cases from being able to go buy your house, but you feel bad about telling these companies, hey, get this off don't report this. Basically, don't report this. I don't know. Me, I'm going to put it on the FTC report. I'm not going to let a collection stop me from getting anything, or a charge off, or a repo, whatever it is. It's not going to stop me. Not when I know I can put it on the FTC report and go on about my business and get what it is I'm trying to get. But hey, that's just me.
So I've seen this post about, would you date somebody with bad credit? Would that person qualify to be your partner? And so I sat there for a minute and I was like, well, you know, bad credit is not the end of the world. Like, you can fix bad credit, but you can't fix someone's bad character. So if their character is still good and they have some financial issues, or they went through a divorce, they got laid off from their job, you know, they got sick and couldn't work and caused them to have bad credit, then what's the problem? Like, it just, life happens. And as long as you continue living this life, stuff can happen. To me, granted, when I had bad credit, because I did, and I've also filed for bankruptcy in my past, and a lot of it was poor managing of my finances. You know, I'm just being honest. And I was a single mom. And so instead of paying that credit card, I said, okay, I'm going to take that credit card payment and put some gas in my car so I can get to work to take care of my kids. Or I wasn't on food stamps, right? And so I wasn't getting really no child support. So all of my income went for me and 2 other humans. And so there was times where I just did not have the extra money to pay on my credit card statement. And so you are in survival mode at that point. And so you're just like, the heck with your credit. And so that was my mindset back then. Today, of course, now I've decided, okay, I'm going to, back then I said, I don't like having bad credit. I don't like being told no when I really need stuff. I don't want a 28% interest rate on a car loan because my credit's bad. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to pay no credit repair people. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to fix my credit. It takes time, y'all. If your credit's bad, don't think it's going to happen overnight unless you want some type of settlement. You pay everything off. Give yourself grace. If you do have good credit and you can help somebody else, then do so. Don't judge that person because they have bad credit, because at an instant you can lose your job or get hurt and you could go and have bad credit. So be careful about how you perceive people, because you walk around here on a cloud and other people is like having a hard time, whatever it may be. You don't know if that man's child support is so high he can't really make his monthly payments on his credit card. Should he charge his card? No. You don't know that woman is not receiving what support she needs to take care of her children or whatever. And yes, we do have people who are just poor managers of their finances. And so you need to find out why. Because I need to make sure that you're not walking around here as a 6-figure earner and you're just out here blowing money. Then we got a whole nother issue here. Like, budgets are your friend. I know for me, as my income has increased, which it has, thank God, I became more frugal. Not because I'm afraid, it's because I'm now a better steward over my finances. And I say, Kim, do you really need that? If I charge that credit card, you better believe I'm turning right back around that same day and I'm paying it off. Why? First of all, you're not going to charge me all these finance charges. Okay. Second of all, I got the money. So why not just go and pay it off? My credit cards, I think I have maybe 1 credit card, maybe 2. They have a balance. That's it. And I pay it so aggressively that they're like, okay, Miss Kim, you really ain't trying to get these finance charges. But my other credit cards are at 0 balances. And I cut up a whole bunch of them because I'm on this debt-free journey. So I cut up a lot of cards. I'm like, why do I have all these credit cards? Just because they said approve or you qualify don't mean that you should take out the additional debt. So that's another thing. How much debt you in? Do you even need that stuff? Cut it up, close these accounts out. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I had good credit, but I had too much credit. So you also got to leverage that. Like, if you have too much credit, it's okay to close the account. I don't care what nobody say. I'm telling you what I've done and what worked for me. Now, it says every situation differently, but my credit increased because it went into my debt to income ratio. If you know what that is, you know what it is. And so my debt to income ratio was higher than it should have been because, yes, I was paying my bills on time and all of that, but I also had too much debt. So I paid those accounts off, closed them out, and my credit score jumped up. Okay, we're not here for the credit lesson. I'm here to talk about if somebody is qualified to date you if they have bad credit. Y'all, it's not that deep. And I say it's not that deep because credit can be fixed at any time. At any time that person decides they want to fix their credit. Now, I do need to hear your story and I need to know why you have bad credit. Now, if it's a pattern of bad credit, like you've had bad credit for the last 25 years, we got a problem. Then we're talking about something different there. But if there's life situations that took place that caused your credit to become bad, then let's try to work that out. But no, I don't think bad credit should disqualify anybody from dating. I do think you need to figure out what happened and then go forth from there. Because I know a lot of people with 800 credit scores that are jerks. Okay. So they don't just look at credit thinking they're such a great person because they pay their bills, or they're such a bad person because they haven't paid their credit card or personal loan. Let's talk to the people and find out what is happening in their life and what caused this to happen, and then go forth. Okay. Y'all find every reason to like discount people and wonder why so many singles out here. I'm just saying. Happy dating, y'all.
Would I date someone with bad credit? I think it depends why she has bad credit. There are only two reasons why a person would have bad credit. And the first reason is they are financially irresponsible. They do have the money to pay back the lenders, but they choose not to, and they choose to spend the money on another thing instead of their responsibilities first. If it is that scenario, and I know that, I will never date a girl like that. Never in my life, because she will be making stupid choices and stressing both of us out. And I do not want a stressful life. Life is already stressful as is. You will not be making foolish choices and have both of us screwed. And I am making really good financial choices. And if a girl like that comes into my life and stresses me out and make poor financial choices, and it affects me, you're getting dumped. Straight up. I have zero tolerance for poor financial choices. You know that you owe these people money. Why are you not paying them back on time? Especially if you have the money.
We not broke. We just in credit card debt. You can't be broke and have bad credit. This out. Y'all, when I tell y'all I had to put them motherfucking cards up, if I know I only make about $2,500 a month, I ain't got no business spending over $5,000 on my credit card. And it's like credit cards are so tempting. Like, I'm finna get it because I got the money to get it, even though it's not my money and I still gotta pay this money back. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it in the time being, and I'm gonna figure out when the credit card is due. Y'all, my TikTok check was $1,300. $1,300. Pay my credit card down to 30%. Do y'all know what I could have did with $1,300? Oh my goodness. I done stopped going out to eat so much. I done started buying more food for the house. And I'm like, you know, we gonna eat here. If we run out of snacks, sometimes I be like, fuck it, we just run out of snacks. If we don't have something, like, I try to make it stretch. Instead of me going to the store and buying a $5 pack of paper towels, I settle for the dollar roll. I done stopped so much unnecessary spending because I'm like, I want to save this money. Like, I love using my credit cards, but at the same time, I want to see more cash in my account. These credit cards finna be paid off and put the fuck up, and I'm finna start saving more money.
What's good, y'all? Quick video. Want to tell you guys why people with bad credit are bad people. Now, don't get hurt by that, but the amount of conversations that I have on a regular basis with customers with bad credit, or interactions that I have with customers with bad credit, always seem to trend to these people being bad people. Now, by bad people, I don't mean they're criminals and they kill people, but they have not developed good human traits, good adult traits. So these traits will include things like they have bad habits, they don't follow instructions, they can't follow like simple tasks, and they just don't have their stuff together. I rarely have a situation where a customer is genuinely a good person, done good their whole life, and they have bad credit. People with bad credit seem to always be bad people. Like, I can't explain it. And by bad people, to further go into detail about that, it's just people are genuinely, like, you guys probably wouldn't want to be around. Like, these are people who lie, cheat, etc., and they make the experience or the interaction with them so unpleasurable. Like, for instance, they want to get very aggressive. Like, you tell them, for example, for me, hey, you got approved, but your credit's not the best. You need $7,600 down. Well, why I gotta put $7,600 down? Well, your credit's not the best, brother. Oh, that wasn't me. That was this person. That was my baby mama. She put a car on my credit. It's actually not a repo. It's really, I paid it off, but the insurance marked it as a repo. They're storytellers. They have all these stories. Like, these bad credit customers always have a story. And they just make the interaction with them so tough, and it always ends sour, because if you don't give a bad credit customer something that they want, they'll hang up the phone on you, they get aggressive in person, raise their voice, use cuss words, things like that. And in all honesty, I just don't want anything to do with bad credit people. Like, people with bad credit, it just seems like they're just not good people. Like, I understand we all have like situations in life where life can get tough, and you know, maybe you overuse your credit cards and things like that. That happens. But that's a small percentage of people. Like, the most people with bad credit, when I interact with them, I quickly figure out that, yeah, there's a reason why you have bad credit. And I understand why you're in the situation that you're in. And your situation makes sense. So Bad credit, bad person. That's gonna trigger some people, but let me know what you guys think.
Nah, my biggest problem is messing up my credit right after I turned 18. Bro, let me tell you a story, because there's no way you messed up your credit worse than mine. So 19 years old, I go off to college by myself, University of Nevada, Reno, and I have never had money in my life. I've been poor and black in America from the time that I was born till 19 years old. So here I am with a credit card and all this student loan money and no clue how money works. Bro, I'm going to the bar with no dollars in my bank account, just buying everybody drinks. Shots, man, anybody wants a shot, I got y'all. I have asthma, so all the smoking I was doing had my ass in hospitals, but I would be like, oh, I don't have medical insurance, I'm a college student, I ain't paying, walked out. By the time I was 25, I had so many dings, so many overdrafts, so many withdrawals that I had stopped using a credit card for legitimately like 5 years. So now not only am I swamped in debt and prior dings, I'm not even generating a credit history at all. My credit is so bad, bruh, they won't even let me open a bank account at Bank of America, and that shit is trash. And then, about 3 to 4 years ago, I decided to take my credit seriously. I called all my debt collectors and offered them a very small amount of money in negotiations for taking away my debt. You guys want to know a secret about hospital bills? They're the easiest ones to negotiate. Most of their debtors who buy the hospital debt just want a little bit of money to get rid of the bill off their name. And now I've dug myself to a 720 credit score. Is it perfect? No, you want to be over here in the 780 to 800 range. But my credit score is good enough to get a good rate on a house. Car companies have no problem giving me a good loan, and most banks will take my money. Amex is willing to let me get a card, and now I can build credit like a normal person. I know it's not easy, and I know we like to make jokes about it because it scares us, but all I'm telling you guys to do is don't quit, don't give up.
I think that they have to teach us about personal credit and business credit in schools. Because a lot of us out here, we do not know how to use credit. And a lot of times we have to fail first and learn the hard way and actually do it by trial and error, which is very bad for consumers, especially if you're young. If you screw up your credit and you have no clue how to use credit the right way, that can affect you and everything about your life in the future.
You know why you got bad credit? Let me tell you why. You don't pay nobody back. You probably still owe your fourth cousin $5 for the sandwich they brought you 10 years ago. You don't pay anyone back. So of course your credit gonna be bad. Y'all be so confused when I run your credit at the dealer, or y'all in my comments with your credit score all low and be like, yo, my credit was never that low. I had an 800 before. No, you did. You ain't never had an 800. You couldn't have had an 800. You never paid no one back. You had $800. You ain't had 800 credit score. But it could be so simple. I wish they taught this in school, but I'm not here to be a politician, whatever. But yeah, just pay your bills. Pay your bills, pay your collections, get your credit right.
I've been seeing a lot of comments of people talking about they don't know how their credit got to where it's at. You know exactly why your credit is in its current standing. You don't pay anybody back. You still owe your mom money. And then you go to the dealership scratching your head wondering why you can't even get approved on a PT Cruiser. PT Cruiser. Anyways, credit is the most simple thing ever. Do not bite off more than you can chew. If you do not have that money inside of your debit account, why would you charge it to your credit card? What hurts a lot of people is you guys think that you're going to charge something to the credit card and then pay it off once you get paid, but then all of a sudden life happens, that balance is rolling into the next month, and then it's just reoccurring debt. At that point, you fell right into the trap. Now you're stuck. But long story short, guys, just pay your bills, pay people back. It's not that hard. And guess what? Once you start paying people back, people are going to want to lend you more money. That's literally how credit works. It is that simple.
You guys, I have to talk about that last post. And if you slid to the right, you saw like that credit thing, like your credit's at an all-time high. Why this is so important is, you guys, my credit is very close to the 800s. Thank you, Jesus. But I am someone who had awful credit. I'm talking about cars repossessed type of credit. Like, went to a barbecue, came out, and my Cadillac was gone, okay? Like, just took my car because I stopped making payments. So, like, this is coming from a very irresponsible person making poor choices financially. Always thought I was going to be rich, worked in nightlife, had, you know, fast cash coming my way, never like put that money away, never planned for anything. thought men were gonna, you know, save me and give me the life that I wanted. Just always had this mindset that like, fuck credit, cash is king, I'm gonna have so much money, but no actual plan of how that was actually gonna happen, which is just so irresponsible. It wasn't until I had my daughter and then me starting this business that I realized like, A, I need to dig myself out of this hole, and B, like, I'm in control. I'm in control of my income. I'm in control of my future and my destiny. Like, I have to start taking accountability. So this is just, you know, a little accomplishment in my journey, another little milestone that I've been able to do and create through this business. And I'm just always so thankful that I said yes to this opportunity, because it has just given me a mindset now that I'm starting to think about those things. You know, I have a fund now put aside for Melania, whether she wants to go to college or start a business. Like, my mindset is always thinking like, how can I secure the bag in the future for me and my daughter? I'm nowhere where I need to be. I live at my mom's place. I still have so much work to do, but every day I feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to my goals, to my dream life, and that's a good feeling. You know, I wake up every day excited because I'm like the little engine that could. Like, I think I can. Like, I just keep going and progressing. And in your life, whoever you are, maybe you're not in a state where you're financially secure, you have hella debt, cars repossessed, maybe you're not as bad as me, but maybe your shit's know that you can dig yourself out of that hole. If you can look up, you can get up, like, period. Use me as an example. So last week I was like, I'm not putting heat on my hair. That was a lie. Okay, so I am gonna curl my hair a little bit, but I am gonna apply heat protectant. If you are putting heat on your hair, put the heat protectant on, okay?
How many denials do you have to get before you realize your credit ain't shit? Literally, that was me. So I said, you know what? Let me pull up my credit report and see what the hell going on. And when I tell y'all, it's some shit on there that I ain't even know was on there or shouldn't be on there, I said, oh no, we got to change that. So what did I do? I figured out the steps to restart repairing my credit. I got inside of this community called Rich Off Credit University. Okay, and it gives you literally everything that you need to dispute everything on your credit and get your credit score up. Literally, it got all the letters. It got exactly step by step of what you need to do and what you need to say. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get inside of there. And I did it. And in 30 days, the collections and stuff came off, personal information gone. And now that same community is in my bio for y'all to get. That way y'all can start repairing your credit and stop paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for other people to do it.
One of my goals by the end of the year is to build my personal credit up in order to get business credit. My goal is to qualify for a business credit or a small business loan. That is my goal for this year. And I hope that in a few months, I can be in a position where I can get access to bank financing. That would be amazing. And that would really help me to scale and to reinvest in my firm. At this point in time, I am using my personal funding to fund my startup. And although I do not owe anybody at this point in time, but it would be nice to use OPM, other people's money, to actually reinvest in my startup. So yeah, that's my goal for this year. And even if I do not use the business credit, I think that it is still really important to at least have access to it, you know? Because you'd never know when you will actually need it. And when you need it and you do not have it, that is where the issue comes in. But if you do not need it and you do have it, then you're not really forced to use it. But if you do need it and you do have it, then it's great. So that is my goal by the end of the year.
As somebody who has built her credit, fucked it up, 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 and build her credit back up again multiple times, I can tell you there's only 2 credit repair hacks. It's only 2. I don't care. Especially if you're trying to like buy a house. You're trying to do some quick scam shit, get a car, something like that. I don't know about that. But if you're trying to actually build your credit and it stay where you built it to, it's only 2. It's only 2 ways to do that. Number 1, you got to pay them people back. That's the number 1 way to build your credibility, is to pay them back like you said you would when you borrowed that money from them. That's it. People gonna say I'm lying. They're gonna say you can sue, you can do this, you can dispute, you You gotta pay them people back. And they're only telling you otherwise because they want you to pay for their course or watch their live. Number 2, file bankruptcy and wait your time. The money that you're giving people to repair your credit, you can do one of those 2 things and actually repair your credit.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.